They seem a little bit redundant because I've done a couple videos on bending sides, but this isn't about bending sides. This is about bending purfling. And I use pretty much exclusively wooden purfling. And I get it from various sources, but it's easy to either make your own and you just get veneer and glue it together, or buy the strip from various places. And the thing is that if you bend it around tight corners, it will break. And so you need to bend it. So I set up the bending iron the same way as I would for sides, except I keep it down low because there's not much wood to absorb heat. So I do 4 of them together. This is for the top and the back. And basically I just run it over here to get enough of a bend in it to where it's actually going to not break when I do the actual gluing up. Again, it's the same kind of deal where I move it back and forth over the pipe. In this case, we've got glue joints that are going to soften up and get into the bending, and then after that, I should mention that I have not put any water on this. And I'm just going around the template, in this case the 00 template, to get the curve around here. You don't have to get it exactly perfect because it will pull tight, but you do need to get it far enough along that it holds some shape. So it's pretty much a matter of holding these all together, letting them all bend. I used to do this one by one, and that took as long as bending the sides. There wasn't really much point to doing it one by one, so I adopted this all 4 at once kind of approach. Now certainly you could do this on a form just like a lot of people do on sides, but I never got into doing that, so this is how I do it. Okay, so I'll just keep doing this for a while. And this is the key point here, is the tight waist. Most of my classicals don't have as tight a waist as this. You don't want to do it too tight on the bend because you do need to have it go in tight when you're doing the gluing. If you do it too tight, then these things tend to kink on you, and that's kind of a problem. So just keep this going a little bit more. Usually you don't even have to do this around the lower bout, but I like to give it a little bit of something around there just to keep it in line, I suppose. Keep it to where it's not going to potentially break on me. Like I said, it doesn't need to be anywhere near the bend that the sides actually are. And again, this is, you can barely hear the torch on this. It's really quite low. It still will boil water. And in fact, to prove that, a little bit hot. In fact, we'll just turn that off because we're almost done. and it certainly will hold enough heat to do this. I'm holding it in such a way that these are all parallel. They're all on the same plane. This purfling does have a tendency to want to twist. And we just keep going till we're pretty close. Now, because we did this dry, we can just go immediately to gluing this on. And if you glue this on independent of the binding, which I will do on this one, it's kind of an extra step, but it allows you to be a little bit cleaner. You have less chance of these things spreading apart while you're trying to glue them. So one piece at a time is going to be the approach I take on this one. So there we have it. It's bent enough for gluing on. So that's how it's done.